Man, look at all this stuff around here. Do you really believe that a huge flood destroyed only my baby pictures?
Well, yeah. If your stuff was over here, and it was this pipe that broke. See?
Look what you did to the... Oh, damn! Do something!
Okay. Hello, Kenan. I'm a frog. I like big feet, Polly Wall.
I'm not trying to run a puppet show me. Do something about the water.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Back here.
Oh, no problem.
There's got to be some kind of explanation for all this.
Yeah, I know. I broke the pipe. Water came out.
I'm not talking about the broken pipe. Wait, maybe there's no baby stuff for me because my parents didn't know me when I was a baby. Maybe they aren't really my parents.
See? You're an alien.
I'm not an alien, man, but I think I'm adopted.
Adopted?
Yeah, adopted.
Your parents adopted an alien?
Welcome back to the Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron experience. I still go by the name of Adam.
And I'm Aaron. I don't remember what the opening is here, Adam. Sorry.
It's okay. From this day forward, you're known as Aaron.
Oh, from this day forward, I'm known as Aaron.
And we're here to talk about Kenan and Kel, the 90s Nickelodeon program that we love so dearly, and this most wonderful time of year.
Adam, we love this show so dearly that we've committed to reviewing every single episode of this show. We've made it all the way to the middle of season 4, which is hard to believe, I'll be honest. It's getting a little bit difficult to just like, oh yeah, I'm still recording Kenan and Kel. But I think it's a worthwhile pursuit that we are doing, not just for ourselves and not just for those listening now, but for generations of Kenan and Kel lovers, for the future of tomorrow. Forever and always, this podcast will be available.
Generations is a good way to put it. This episode aired on your fourth birthday, September 11th, 1999. Oh, sorry, second birthday.
That was my second birthday. My fourth birthday was September 11th, 2001.
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot.
How could you forget? Never forget, Adam. Never forget. Anyways, on a brighter note, we are dealing with genealogy this episode. And Kenan's asking some good questions.
Oh, as he should. I think this is the sentimental episode of the, if not, there's a clip show at the end that has some of the vibes, but this is the one that kind of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah, if you're in the space for your heartstrings to be pulled. If you watch this episode while you're a little tired at the end of a long week, you may find yourself critiquing it a little too heavily. But I'm going to try not to dampen everybody's mood and enjoy this episode with you.
You got a Grinch disease right now. You got your heart's a few sizes too small.
Holiday hoobie wuddy. Self-loathing. Self-loathing.
You're in the self-loathing phase of your schedule.
Yeah, my day.
Well, let's get into Natural Born Kenan this episode. Hop on the big orange couch with Coolio and talk about it.
Talk about it. They're doing a lot of talk in this opening scene.
Yeah, it's about Kenan and Kel. They do that intros, but they don't finish their intros with just the two of them.
Yeah, Kel's like, Kenan, we got somebody else to introduce. And then he goes, introducing...
Captain O Wonderful.
Captain O Wonderful pops on stage in a green leotard with black underwear on top and a cape, I believe.
Yep, he's got a cape, he's got like a Batman mask, and he's got bright red hair and a shamrock insignia.
Yes, he is Captain O Wonderful, and he is Irish.
He's very Irish. That's kind of his main trait. One of two traits, I should say.
He doesn't have any powers, but he does have a weakness. What did we learn that the weakness is?
Yeah, as Kenan points out, it's like, oh, well, Superman's weak to kryptonite. Super Dude is allergic to milk. That was his character from All That.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the reference was.
Yes. So, fun little cameo there, and then he goes, oh, well, Captain Wonderful, his one weakness is, as he describes it, Carn dogs.
Carn dogs. Oh, what a great weakness to have. Adam, why did Kel bring Captain Amazing, O Wonderful, O Lovely, O Love,
well, speaking of amazing,
O Life?
last glass right here of Amazing Orange.
Oh yeah, of the Food Lion.
Food Line brand orange soda.
It only took you 1 year to
To
consume
drink
that.
the whole thing. Yeah, my fridge is so thankful for the extra space right now.
You could have put it in another container.
I guess.
Does your fridge have a personality? Is that what you're trying to say? Your fridge
Yeah, this actually just went for a run.
you better go catch it.
Yeah, right.
Oh God. Kel says that Captain Amazing is here because he could help us. He could help them get out of trouble or problems they might get into.
Good premise. A superhero to help to solve their issues.
Yeah, very cartoon-esque. Very on brand for Kel to be thinking outside the box.
Yeah, but Kenan doesn't want any of it. He doesn't want someone saving the day for them. He doesn't need a deus ex machina in his day-to-day life. So he produces a corn dog from his pocket.
Yes, as Kenan does, he just has stuff in his pockets.
Yeah, and he uses it to scare him off.
Hey, so you scared away Captain O'Wonderful.
Who shouts, "Ooh, me lucky charms," as he leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, the Irish stereotyping. That's I guess that's okay to do still.
Yeah, in this era, it's never okay to do, Aaron. Kenan points out that, hey, this isn't time. We're in season 4, basically. This isn't time to be introducing new characters. Unless one of those characters never really belonged there in the first place.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, hinting at the plot of this episode.
Kenan says, well, never mind. Come on. What did he say, Chucky?
Chucky.
Come on, Chucky. And then Kel is what do you mean somebody didn't belong there? Oh, here it goes. That intro is about 2.5 minutes.
Per usual, leading off a stacked episode. A lot of scenes, a lot of things happen.
Yeah, new sets too. Yep.
Yeah. The beginning of this episode was once an entirely different episode.
What? Oh, yeah, I see what you said there. I see what you did. I see those words.
This episode starts with Kyra's birthday party, which was season 2, episode 2, clowning around. That was the entire episode. It was Kyra's birthday.
Yeah, they really don't have that many roles for Kyra or special events that happen in Kyra's life. She's kind of just a supporting role.
This is the second episode. This is the first episode she's in of the season.
She hasn't been here in a while.
No, and have you noticed that she looks a little different?
She's much older every time she shows up.
Yeah, so in the canon of the show, right, I've been laying out the characters' ages and trying to map this out ever since we got confused about Kenan not being old enough to drive.
Right.
He's about 17 now. Kyra, in season 2, she was celebrating her 10th birthday, which means this will be her 12th birthday. Does she look 12 to you?
She doesn't really look 12, Adam.
Yeah, I think she was like, Vanessa Baden, the actress, is like 2 years older than her always, so it's easy for a 12-year-old to play 10, but it's not easy for a 14-year-old to play 12.
Yeah, a lot happens between those ages. So anyways, here's Kyra. She's doing a good job, as always. We love Vanessa Baden. And they're celebrating. And she's saying, yeah, this would have been great, but I wonder where Kel went.
And Roger reveals that he has tricked Kel into believing that they're still playing hide and seek.
Yeah, he's been hiding for 3 hours. And Roger is very proud of this. And then he laughs with a cackle. Whoa!
Yeah, a classic Roger laugh. So then he's like, don't be mean to him. Let him know. And he says, Ollie, Ollie, oxen free.
Where does that come from? Ollie, Ollie, oxen free.
I have no idea. It's not Latin, is it? How long is it?
No, I'm looking at the subtitles. It's Ollie, Olly, Ollie, Ollie, oxen, like the animal, free.
Get this. The origin of this phrase is unknown. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Just happens.
People are like, we have no idea where this came from.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would imagine it like you let the cattle loose and then the oxen loose and they just run around.
It's old, apparently. So, yeah, he says that Kel flings open the closet door and smacks Roger right in the face with it.
Yeah, it hits Roger in the head. Roger thinks he broke his nose. Sheryl goes, Roger, are you okay? First time anybody's ever asked Roger if he's okay.
Yeah. And I think his answer, as per usual, would be no, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
This menace lives in my house.
And hides. and then pops out of nowhere. Roger is ushered over to the couch, and Kyra's like, we should show Kel the video again.
Yeah, they've been watching videos, old home movies of Kyra as a baby.
I hope that there was like a party, the people were there, and then they left, and this is the cleanup. That I do like the fact that they showed Kyra baby or kid videos at her birthday party. I think that's a really nice thing to do.
It's a fun tradition, I guess.
That should be more normal.
Kenan's a little jealous because there's no videos of him as a baby.
Yeah, and Kel's wondering why there's no videos of Kel. But then he goes on to ask, why don't you have a video of Kenan?
Was he ugly?
Yeah. Which an ongoing joke for the rest of this scene. What's the explanation for why there's no videos of Kenan?
They didn't buy a video camera until Kyra was born.
Which, that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that technology not being around.
Checks out.
For home. Not that's not around, but it'd be more rare.
Yeah.
The older they get.
Yeah, and it's expensive, and, somebody has to do it.
Kenan's putting together the pieces, and he's like, wait a second. There are no pictures of me as a baby. I don't think I've seen any.
And then Sheryl reminds him, well, remember, Kenan, there was a flood, and then they destroyed all of your baby photos.
Yeah. So, and Kenan's like, that's real convenient. He's starting to get a little suspicious of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, think about if you've never seen a baby picture of yourself. There's definitely happens. It definitely used to always happen.
Before the cameras.
Before cameras, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of baby pictures out there now, especially with phones, and yeah, in one way or another.
Some people move. Some families don't keep as good of track of that stuff. Mm-hmm. We're fortunate to grow up in a house with a lot of scrapbooks.
Yeah, the scrapbooking phase.
We've seen ourselves as babies, but if you don't have that touchstone, yeah, it can be weird.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Kenan's feeling. He's like, well, wait a second. Mm-hmm. What was I like as a child? I'm just here now. And they don't have any answers for him. Kenan wants to he really is starting to get curious, so he asks if he could see his birth certificate.
Oh, we're not even close to that yet.
My bad.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think the scene ends with Kel, saying that it's like, oh, my mom sat at the cutest butt when I was a baby. You want to see it?
Oh.
Yeah, and they're like, no one wants to see no one wants to see that, Kel. Not their full adult. But the next scene that we go down to the basement, where Kenan's on the hunt for some of his baby memorabilia.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. I like this set. There's a brick wall on the right. There's wood paneling. There's a striped thin carpet on the ground. It looks like a basement.
It's got a lot of old broken TVs.
Yeah.
It's just full of boxes and bins. There's a fridge in the corner. I want to say that I wrote down that this is an enormous space that I can't believe we haven't seen before.
Yeah. They definitely did a good job on this set, but it would have been nice for that to be the place where Kenan and Kel hung out.
That's exactly what I wrote. It's certainly they would spend time in this spot of house.
Although Chicago gets pretty nasty in the winter, and so I could see that not being heated.
The other thing that I wrote down is that Kenan and Kel are wearing camouflage outfits.
Kenan has a jersey, number 505, and it has camo on the top shoulder pad area. And Kel is wearing not camouflage.
It's not?
No, it's a flower shirt.
Oh.
It's a Hawaiian flower shirt, and it has a matching Hawaiian flower hat.
Oh, okay. I think on my edition it looked a little more camo than flowery.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a silky Hawaiian shirt. I
was listening back to some old episodes of ours, and we get really in the weeds and in depth about the symbolism and stuff like that. I think Kenan was wearing camo in this scene because he doesn't feel seen by his family. He feels like he's missing something, and that he's being obscured in his family.
Yeah, and that's why he's looking in the bowels of the basement, trying to find himself.
That's a literal hero's journey he's on right now. He wants to. He's going into the belly of the beast to figure this stuff out.
That's right. He's trying to learn about himself.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, another symbolism here. Kel is wearing a hat. And then he finds this, gladiator helmet.
Oh, yes, a full-on knight's helmet.
Yeah, and so he puts it on, and then he can't get it off. But Anyways, spoiler, it's on the rest of the episode. Which is a great joke here.
Sometimes when it's like too serious of an episode, it's like, you're really focused on that stuff, but you can always turn to Kel at any point in this episode and have a laugh that he's still wearing the helmets.
Yeah, so this becomes a permanent piece of the episode. Maybe he's masking the fact that he doesn't know who Kenan is either.
Yeah, he's made a distraction for him. Well, he's made a distraction for himself to not grapple with this. It's a very immature behavior. Yeah, no, they look through some photos. They have one that is Kyra with Aunt Lativia, who looks like a dude.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a man in that picture.
Yes. And it feels like a real photo, like a real old photo.
That's somebody's photo, yeah.
Yeah. It could be Kyra's old photo.
It could be.
Or Vanessa's, I should say.
I don't know. Somebody's like, give me a stock photo.
Well, I also think it's funny that this is like Kenan's like second aunt that it looks like that has a bunch of like masculine traits.
Yeah, Aunt Gertie.
Yeah, Aunt Gertie with the mustache.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's that. And then Kenan goes like, hey, I can't believe that this stuff that my pictures were destroyed in a flood. Like, how does that happen? Kel goes, oh, it kind of happens like this. He goes over to the pipe. Is this how the scene goes? And he goes over to the pipe and then he hits it.
That occurs at the very end. But yeah, let's go over it. Yeah, Kenan's like, I don't know how there could be a flood in here that destroys everything. Like you said, Kel walks over. If someone hit this pipe in the right way, he picks up a wrench, smacks the pipe, and water just starts pouring out.
Exactly. And then Kenan's like, there's just water spurting out of this pipe. It's this red pipe, and it's just cracked now. It's like separated, and then there's just water spurting out. A great prop. Yeah. And then Kenan goes, Kel, do something. So Kel picks up this frog stuffed animal, and he just starts like talking with it. Like a ventriloquist.
Doing like a puppet show with it.
Yeah. Kenan's like, oh, no, I mean...
Yeah, he puts it over there, clogs it up. Kenan says, there must be some kind of explanation for all this. Kel says, yeah, I broke the pipe, water came out. No, I mean the fake baby stuff.
Yeah, and then Kenan, you could see his light bulb trying to turn on. Mm-hmm. Wait. Maybe my parents didn't know me when I was a baby because they aren't really my parents.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think throughout this whole scene, Kel starts his theory that maybe you never were baby. Maybe you came to this planet as an alien that was left here to observe our earthly ways until the year 2007.
Oh, way off in the future in 2007.
Yeah, the distant future.
I love that. Great writing there.
Kenan's putting the pieces together and he's like, what if I'm, and he drops the big word, adopted.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Like, imagine a kid growing up, a kid who's adopted, and the parents never tell him.
Yeah, it's going to keep it secret. I mean, that's always a conversation that has to be had. Like, or when do we tell them?
Yeah, definitely.
When would you tell your child they were adopted?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't make that decision right now. I need a full night of sleep.
Fair, yeah, no. It can't be a decision.
No. That's yeah. Sometimes it's obvious, but other times it's like, that I'm always open. I'm always one for clear and open communication. So if a kid started asking, I would tell him. I wouldn't be like, no. Your pictures were destroyed. We didn't buy a camera.
Yeah, he's theorized, I'm adopted. Then Kel, he like literally walks away from the pipe, letting it spurt water again, and just says, your parents adopted an alien?
That's the joke the rest of the episode, basically.
We go back to the family room, and the plumber has just finished repairing the basement.
He hands Roger the pink slip. Kel snatches it, and he says, man, that sure is a lot of money that you have to pay because your son's friend broke the pipe. I'm glad I don't have to pay this.
Yeah, just making him like immediately furious.
And Cheryl's walking downstairs with some laundry, and she's looking at Kel now like, are you serious?
But Kenan like gets things real serious by saying, can I ask you a question, Roger and Sheryl?
He goes, have I ever been... He's like, well, what I guess what I'm trying to say is, Kel says, he wants to know if he's an alien.
Right. And they're like, what? Then Kenan says, are you really my parents? And they say, of course we are. And Kel says, you're all aliens?
The aliens joke, it's not doing it for me, Adam. It's not doing it for me.
Let's just stop it right here. No more of the aliens joke.
Well, I mean, we can mention when it happens, but I'm not going to fake laugh at it.
Yeah,
it's not that funny.
Yeah, I would say I'm with you there.
I mean, it's good. It's fine. It's funny. I wish it was funnier. That's all I have to say. Kel does still have the helmet on, though, so that's...
Yes. There's always something funny to look at. It's him in that helmet.
He's tin hatting pretty much right now. He's got his tin hat on, tin helmet.
That's his crazy conspiracy theory, the tin hats.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kenan's like going over, he's doing his detective work. He's like, there's none of my stuff. There's no photos of me. And they're like, we told you all the reasons for that. Well, he's like, why don't you tell me a story from when I was a baby? And Sheryl, like, drops the ball immediately. She's like, Roger.
And then Roger is like, oh, I got one. And he tells this story about how they were on a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And when they were on the roller coaster and they were on the loop-de-loop, that he unbuckled Kenan's seatbelt, held him out in front of him, and then he spit up all over Roger.
Right, all over Roger's hair.
And then he goes, oh, no, wait, that was Kyra. And at this point, I'm like, I'm questioning the writing of the episode. I don't know who wrote it, but I'm questioning it because that's a stupid story. You can't bring a baby on a roller coaster.
You can't bring them on a roller coaster. You can't unbuckle them. That's a crime.
Hold them out in front of you.
Yeah, that's
so stupid. On the loop-de-loop.
So irresponsible.
On the loop-de-loop. What are you going to do? How big are your hands? How confident are you in your hands?
There are 3 writers credited with this episode. Kevin Coppolo, Heath Seifert, and Sal Maniaci.
I think that was a Sal line.
You can blame all the bad jokes on Sal because he hasn't written any other episode.
Sal, who are you and what are you doing to Kenan and Kel?
Yeah, I feel like the alien bit is a Sal bit.
Yeah, something is.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a Kevin and Heath episode.
I don't know. I feel like they really get into kind of Kenan's emotional state.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, they really kind of do like a character development kind of piece here.
I know. I get some vibes. It's like some Bye Bye Kenan type vibes from maybe the second episode more than the first one.
Yeah, but his parents are telling him. He's like, no, Kenan, we told you that we just that we had a flood and like we don't have anything of your stuff. Like we're sorry. And he's like kind of insistent. Like, are you seriously? There's no Kenan blanket, no Kenan baby shoes, no baby Kenan anything.
Yeah, and this is the perfect time for them to come in with a good story, but they can't do that, and that's what like frustrates him the most. That's what that kind of pushes him over here.
Cal coughs. Aliens. Yeah, I guess it is still fun. It's getting funnier.
Sheryl says, "If you don't believe us, go see your birth certificate. It has all our names on it."
Right.
Which I don't know if you know this. If you get adopted, your adopted parents' names go on your birth certificate. But
definitely.
Yeah, so ignoring that, he's like, okay, cool, where's my birth certificate? And they don't know.
Like, I know where Kyra's is.
And that's might be one of my favorite lines of the episode, because Kenan, he explodes with anger. He's like, I knew it. And you can see Kel in the background on the couch laughing at him.
Yeah.
And his reaction.
Yeah.
It's rare to see a Kel laugh make it into the episode.
It's true. And now Kenan is so mad. He is so mad. He is going to march straight down to the place where they keep the records, and he's going to search through there.
Yeah. He's like, what's the name of that place called? And Kel knows exactly it.
Kel knows it. He says, oh yeah, the city of Chicago.
The Department of Records.
And then he gives directions of exactly where the records are.
Yeah, and the municipal. Oh god, I can't say that word. Municipal. Oh god.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna make you keep trying.
Municipal. Building on the third floor, second door.
One more time.
Municipal.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Municipal.
Municipal building, third floor, second door after the water fountain. And he's like, goodbye, Roger and Sheryl. And they're like, don't call us by our first names.
Goodbye,
That's what
Mr. and Mr. Rockmore.
So Kenan leaves, and Kel stands in the doorway, and he's all like, hey, even if Kenan is adopted, can I still come over and hang out with you guys?
And Roger slams the helmet shield down and then closes the door.
Yeah. And we go to a new set again.
Yeah. Why do you think Kel knew where the Department of Records was?
That's
exactly
a good question.
Where Kenan needed to go.
Do you think that Kel could be an alien?
Or adopted.
Or adopted? He might be adopted. We learn a little bit more about Kel's parents next episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I watched ahead a little bit.
How dare you?
Sorry, I was so entranced by this one. I was like, I need some more.
I do love that this place, or a place like this, existed. Does it still exist?
I don't know if they have paper copy. Well, they probably do.
They definitely do.
Yeah, I would love to see this.
I figured it'd be at the hospital, though, if you needed like a birth certificate, but I don't know.
I think hospital's where I would go for a birth certificate, not a record department.
Right. So, anyways, but there's this record department. I imagine like in Soul.
Yeah, so oh, okay, the Pixar movie, yeah.
When Terry or whatever his name is searching for all the names. It's like that's
Yeah.
what this place looks like.
That's
It's like
essentially what it is.
Endless filing cabinets. It's the one place they still buy filing cabinets for.
They've got the market cornered on filing cabinets.
When's the last time somebody bought a new filing cabinet?
I don't know. I mean, my desk has like a drawer in it that is sort of a filing cabinet.
Right.
But this desk is 5 years old.
Who goes out and buys a filing cabinet these days?
No one. But Kenan has one in his room, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to have one in my room.
Yeah, for all your schemes and plans.
my paperwork. I was like 14. I'm like, I need to organize my life.
Yeah, you got to go through here. Get to. I probably put that in the Z's.
And it wasn't even organized. It was like miscellaneous 1, like miscellaneous 2, like programs from the zoo. It's like, I don't know.
They go into the office. There's a nice lady behind the reception, and she's like, "How can I help you?" And Kel says, "We're looking for aliens from outer space."
And she goes, "Security!"
and then Kenan's like, "No, ignore him. I need a file for Kenan Rockmore." She goes look for his birth certificate. Meanwhile, Kel has a really fun aside. Probably the same one as from last episode, now that I'm thinking about it, when he put on 3D glasses.
Kind of his go-to aside. He's like, "Look, Kenan, when I put this helmet on, I can't feel any pain." So he closes the head, he closes like the lid, and he runs straight into the wall. And these guys like dramatically jump out of the way.
He hits the wall, he falls on the ground and starts screaming.
And like flailing.
Maybe it's the era that I grew up in, but Kel just screaming makes me laugh.
No, it's pretty funny because it's so stupid. And when he hits the wall like moves a little. You can see the set. They clearly told him like, don't actually hit this wall or else it'll fall down. And then the guys behind him, the guys who like move out of the way, they are dressed just like Kenan would dress.
Oh, really?
One of them's wearing like a rugby shirt and like a big rugby shirt and jeans, and the other one's wearing like a big flannel and jeans and just like sneakers.
That's Connor and Kent, so they're on a very similar episode in their own lives.
Definitely.
She hands him his birth certificate, and he's like, "Oh, cool, thanks. Wait a second. This isn't mine. Whose birth certificate is this?"
Kevin Rockmore.
So she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one," and she goes back to get another. But Kenan starts looking at it, and there's a lot of similarities between Kevin Rockmore and himself.
They were born in the same hospital, on the same day, at the same time.
Yeah, and suddenly, like, yeah, he's like, his wheels start turning. He said that adopted plan, something else is forming.
Kel goes, "Hey, maybe you're Kevin Rockmore."
That makes too much sense. Kevin's parents are George and Margaret Rockmore. The lady comes, she gives him his birth certificate, and he says, "Hey, have you ever heard of someone like being like switched at birth?" Or anything like that.
He's like, "No, that's crazy, right? That doesn't happen." She's like, "It happens more than you would think." She gives this really serious, like.
Yeah, she laughs and then says, "You'd be surprised how often that happens."
Right.
Yeah, and she goes over the facts that we just listed, and she's like, "That's absolutely possible." So, and Kel has a really good point, which is like a very meta point too, because he says, "You don't look anything like your parents."
Yeah. Like, hey, Kel, shh.
Yeah. You might know too many things here, Kel.
Kel, we're still trying to play a TV show, okay? No, but it's kind of true, right? He doesn't really look like Sheryl. He doesn't really look like Roger. And now Kenan's having this midlife crisis. Not midlife.
Yes, early life crisis, I guess.
He's having an early life crisis.
So, at this point of the episode, regardless of how it plays out, do you believe that it'd be possible that Kenan was not the child of Roger and Sheryl?
The way this episode's playing out?
Or, like, just in general, based off his personality and the way that they interact with each other? Because I would say he's got a lot of Roger in him. As we've gone over the show, we've drawn parallels. We've seen times when they react similarly. But, is that a nature or nurture thing?
Yeah, it's the classic conversation. I tend to think that it's a lot more nature than it is, or that's a lot more nurture than it is nature. Because, a kid's personality is totally dependent on, babies are born as blank slates for the most part. Like, yeah, they have some genetic predispositions, but, like, I get angry sometimes. I don't think I necessarily have a gene for anger. I think my default, like, emotional state is angry because that's probably what I saw in my early childhood, and then I developed that over time. But I don't know I think Kenan could have done the same thing, and even if he was adopted or whatever, switched at birth is the new theory, it doesn't mean anything necessarily because they still don't have pictures. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's always something you can look at like siblings for, because if it was purely nature, then the kids, there'd be a lot more overlap than there truly is. Like you and I, if we were the exact same person, this would be a very boring podcast.
We are not the same. Although Myers-Briggs would say that we have a similar, what is it, the Myers-Briggs? Yeah, we have a similar personality.
INFJ.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah, who knows?
I still don't know.
Just something interesting to explore. We get this transition. We get a close-up of Kenan's birth certificate.
Oh, we do?
Yep. This transition scene, you see Kevin's birth certificate and Kenan's and how similar they are.
Does it say any information that we need?
Yes. Well, first of all, this is a document signed by Boyd Thorpe, who is a county clerk. The one that I got a good look at was Kevin's one.
Yeah.
Kevin's certificate. It says that he was born in Memorial Hospital on March 23rd, 1982.
Yep.
Confirming Kenan's current age, being like 17, 18 in this season.
Wow. There you go.
So that's good. However, Kenan is a self-proclaimed, in 2 episodes now, Taurus. We know that Kenan Thompson is a Taurus, but Kenan Rockmore is clearly an Aries by this birth date. Do you think that he's been I feel like he might have been getting it wrong all these years?
I don't know. This might have been back in the day where they didn't put people's real birthdays. You know what I mean?
You think the range might have been different?
Well, I mean, think about the writers and stuff. Who knows if they had the authority or the ability to put Kenan's actual birthday for this birth certificate.
That's an interesting point.
Right. So they probably would have had to get a bunch of clearances or whatever. And maybe back then it was standard practice to not include personal information for their characters. That's how I would probably see it.
That's an interesting point. Just looking through it, I wrote down a couple of Aries traits. Because if you recall, we were going through Taurus and we're like, these aren't the best fit for Kenan.
Okay.
So these are some Aries traits.
How many hours do we have on this podcast?
Well, 1 per episode.
Oh my!
And this is episode 56, so 56 hours.
You can listen to this podcast for over 2 days. Oh my God, that's terrible. It's terrifying.
Aries traits. No filter.
Okay.
Gets angry, then forgets why they were angry.
Why?
Thinks everything is a game that they can win.
That's an Aries.
Will do anything on a dare. Easily bored.
That sounds like Kenan Rockmore.
My pet theory is that he doesn't know what a Taurus is.
I think, I don't know if it was, I'm sure it was still big back then, but it's probably not as big as it is today.
I guess if we ever have Kenan on, we'll ask him that. He seems more as a Taurus or an Aries.
You think we're going to get Kenan on? I think we could try.
Probably not. I don't think we can ever get anyone currently on SNL on this podcast.
I don't know. Never say never.
I guess I won't say never.
I know a guy.
Is it Kenan? Do you know him?
No, I know another guy. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
I don't know anybody. Maybe we know somebody. If you know anybody who works around SNL or could get us Kenan Kel on the podcast, you please send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com. Moving on to the We're gonna try.
Yeah.
But we might need some help. We'll let you know later on.
Kenan is in his bedroom, typing away at his computer. He's finding the address of George and Margaret Rockmore.
I had to take a student's computer away today because we were watching an episode of something and they were watching something else. And so I took the computer away and I opened it up and he was watching Kenan and Kel. Because he knows that I like it. Every day this kid walks into class and he goes, "Are we watching Kenan and Kel today?" Because I showed it like a couple times. And so he was watching Kenan and Kel. And I'm like, I'm annoyed, but I'm not going to say you can't do this.
That's really funny.
Anyways, so the love of Kenan and Kel is spreading far and wide.
Yeah, he's looking at the address online. That's what they used to do back in the day, I guess. And he's about to call them because he's got their phone number. Kel finds the phone number for the Rockmores and he gives it a ring. And Kenan's like, "I'm not ready to talk to him yet." And then the phone in his bedroom starts ringing. Yeah,
Kel clearly called the operator and got Kenan's phone number, which you think he would know, but I'm not gonna judge the logic of 1999.
He literally says, "Hello, is George or Margaret there?" And he's like, "Stop calling me." And then Kel says, "I thought it was funny you guys had the same number."
There's been a lot of phone bits this season.
We might be able to do like a top 5 phone bits across Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, we should. There's a lot of phone bits.
Also worth mentioning, Kel's wearing like a cow pajamas. No other way to describe them.
I like that description. Imagine searching that in on Amazon.
Cow pajamas.
I'm doing it right now.
It's like a big onesie for cow.
Yeah, and but he still has his helmet on.
It's a really funny look.
It is funny.
Kenan works up the courage, calls the number. He says, "Hello, is this George or Margaret? Stop calling here. You have the wrong number."
Yeah, he kind of panics. Kind of. He does panic. So anyways, what's happening here is that Kenan is he's trying to get to the bottom of this. He's curious about where he came from, as we all are as human beings here on this rock, floating in infinite nothingness. Just kidding. We're in the Milky Way galaxy, in the solar system. There's not nothing. There's stuff. But eventually all the stars will burn out, and then there will be nothing. Sorry.
Are you okay today? Is Kenan...
I watched a video on the future, a time lapse of the future, and it went like trillions of years. Oh my God!
You think people will still be listening to our podcast in 1,000 years?
I think we should send another Voyager up, but it has this podcast on.
They had a thing recently, like NASA was doing, where they were like putting stuff on the moon.
Are they just putting it up there?
Yeah, I guess they're putting files that someone was sending to the moon.
Like a floppy disk.
Yeah, a bunch of floppy disks are going up there. Yeah. So Cal's like, "Stop being a baby." He picks up the number and he says, he's like, "Here's your son," and puts Kenan on.
Kenan kind of panics and he goes, "Yes, your son. My name is Yerson. I am Swedish.
I own my own company."
Are you going to be there early tomorrow morning?
Yes, he has un gift for them.
They say yes.
So he goes, "Great, I'll see you then." And then he sits in bed and he commits, like, "Tomorrow, I'm meeting my real parents."
I don't like how he's just convinced that Roger and Sheryl aren't his real parents. I also don't like how we'll see, maybe later on he does come around, but he's still like kind of in denial that Roger and Sheryl ever did anything for him. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, they're not my real parents." That's it.
He comes around, but it's pretty late in the episode.
Before the commercial break, Kenan lies down. He's like, tomorrow I'm going to meet my real parents. And then it's like this zoomed up view, right? This view from like the top of the room. And then the audience claps.
Yeah, I like that touch.
Makes it seem a little more sentimental. Like they're kind of happy for him.
Yeah. This is actually a different director that we usually see. This is Linda Mendoza directed this episode.
Yeah?
I wonder if that has any weigh in on the kind of oddness of it.
I think so. Yeah, it's different camera angles. Like then we cut where they're in this throne room, and the camera angle is kind of higher. It's like a higher angle.
It is. So you can see all this kind of like this big royal court before them. As soon as Kenan like announces himself, he's like, "I'm Kenan Rockmore," and they're like, "It's the prince. The prince has returned."
And right about now, the trumpeter goes, plays some fanfare. The trumpeter kind of looks like Jim Carrey, but I'm just gonna let that slide.
Yeah. Two royal parents come up, like a king and a queen, and they're like, "Son, we finally meet. Welcome to your new home."
And if you haven't picked up by now, this is a dream.
Yes, it is absolutely a dream.
And it's absolutely unnecessary for the plot of the episode.
Well, I like how it's presented as, for a moment, like this is really what's happening.
Yeah, because it's after the commercial break, and we don't have like the dream bubble or sound.
No, we just get right into it. And Kenan's the prince of the Kingdom of Chicago, and he gets a $1 million allowance for this week.
The $1 million is hidden inside a pillow. And then Kel asks, ooh. Kel's there, of course. He says, ooh, can I have a throne? Where's my throne? Lady, can I have a throne?
And that's what she says. Does he have to be in this dream sequence?
Yeah.
I want to say that I hope they tried for this, because it seems like a missed opportunity. And in my memory, this is what the situation was, but it's not reality. I thought his parents were going to be played by the people that played his parents in Parental Guidance.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Would that be a really good cameo? James Buckman III and...
That'd be a great cameo. You know what would be funny if, like, the queen was Ethel Quagmire.
Just people that don't...
Just like random people from Kenan's past in his dream, you know?
I like the concept of his parents look even less... His actual parents look even less like him. Speaking of people in his past, he has his own personal servant. And who plays his personal servant?
None other than Chris Potter.
Yes, and Chris is very upset with wearing his, squire getup.
Hi, Kenan.
Chris, you're my personal servant? He's like, yeah, yes I am. Can I get a hoot?
Yeah, hoot.
We haven't seen that in a long time, them raising their hands.
Right, I know. It's a classic gimmick. He doesn't say, can I get a hoot? He says, ain't it a hoot? Ain't it a hoot? Hoot. Yes, hoot. Now stop mocking. I'm unhappy enough as it is. That's what he says.
What does Kenan ask Chris for?
He's like, basically, so he can get anything he wants. So he asks Chris for his hair.
And Chris goes, what? Okay, fine. He takes off his hat. And he rips off his hair.
Yeah, he takes it off all together and just gives it right to Kenan.
And I like what Kenan's doing. He starts wearing Chris's hair.
He puts it on like a little top hat. And now Chris is bald. And the great bald mask here, or bald hat.
So, and then Kel asks him, Chris, oh, can I get some orange soda? And then even Chris turns around. He's like, no, of course not.
And then Kel goes, Kenan, look, it's a pipe, and it's a golden pipe on the wall. He hits, yeah. And water spurts out.
It looks just like the one in your parents' basement, and he breaks it in the same way.
I like this part of the dream sequence because it's like that it does happen in dreams, you know. It's like something happened earlier that day. We're like, hey, look at this pipe. It's in the same scene.
Yeah, if you think about it, Kenan's just imposing all the stuff that he knows is going to happen. He knows Chris is going to turn down Kel's request for orange soda.
Right.
And he knows Kel's is going to be more annoying than he would want.
His subconscious is so on point.
Yeah, I think Kel. I think Kenan, as he's being spread wire, says, "Even in my dreams, this happens."
Yeah, and so Kenan is clearly upset at Kel in his dream, just like real life. But the spraying of the water wakes everybody up, including Kenan. So Kenan goes over, and all the lights are on. They're sleeping, and then he goes over to wake Kel, and he's like, "Kel, I just had a dream that my parents were royalty."
He's like, oh, cool. What was I?
Annoying.
Annoying. That must be a dream. So then Kenny's like, wow, wouldn't that be great? And then Kel posits another theory. Or maybe they're snow people from the North Pole.
Snow people. And so then we cut to Kenan falling asleep again, thinking about this hypothetical.
Yeah, he says, I better go back to sleep and see.
Right. And now it's Kenan wearing exactly what he was wearing in the other dream, except freezing in the North Pole.
His parents are there. This is just the three of them in this scene. Or I should say, three and someone else. Because it's the same, like, bits. They were like, here's your allowance, son. And it's a fish.
He says, hi, I'm your son. Yeah, they give him a fish for allowance instead of $1 million.
Go catch us some dinner. And they give him, like, a harpoon.
Can't the allowance just be dinner?
And then his mom asked him to take the penguin for the walk.
And then he's walking a penguin. A chin-strap penguin.
And it's a cute little penguin.
It's very cute.
Don't live at the North Pole.
It's definitely scared.
Yeah, that's a good point. The penguin moves with a fright in its step.
It definitely doesn't want to be in, Universal Studios. No, where are they?
L.A.
It's all the same.
And as we know that, Kenan's a notoriously bad penguin hunter.
We do know this. He's very bad at that game.
He wakes up and tells Cal, like, that's the bad version. I want that. And they go to a third and final dream sequence where Kenan speculates about what would happen if
we did switch parents and then Kevin was in my place. And so then they cut and it's Roger Sheryl and Kyra sitting on the couch and then Kenan enters. And he says, hey, everybody. And they can't remember his name.
Except for Kyra. Kyra gets it eventually and everyone's like, oh yeah, Kenan, how's it going? Kevin is apparently the world's greatest son.
Yeah, he has like he comes out, he's like, hey, everybody, with a platter of sandwiches.
He's like, I made everyone's favorite. And then he says, and here's everyone's allowance. Fun bits.
It's like Kenan's greatest nightmare.
Yeah, he's like, wait, he's giving you guys allowance?
Somebody is in Kenan's role and doing better than Kenan does, which is basically doing anything.
Mm-hmm. It's actually
Kenan's not a very good son.
This is very similar to Kenan's dream in the second episode, The Taming of the Screw, where he imagines like giving his parents like millions of dollars and gifts and stuff like that.
It's similar. Yeah, that's got to be like a dream that Kenan has regularly. Giving people money.
Maybe it's a true deep desire of his to use money and fame to make his parents proud of him.
Yeah, to provide, right? So I think it's both to give them what, they've given him, but it's also this desire for them to like him because he's successful and has money. Basically, Kenan is corrupted by capitalism. No, I'm just not capitalism, corporatism.
Well, Kel is absolutely not.
Nope. Kel enters and he goes, "Oh, hey, what's up, Marvin?"
And he goes over and does this elaborate handshake with Kevin. Actually, it's more of a leg shake.
Yeah, they high five and they go and shake each other's ankle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see enough ankle shaking these days.
And Kevin says, "I got you some orange soda."
And Kel says, "Nah, man, no more orange soda. I mean, just being your friend makes me happy." That's a good line.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Hey, did you guys hear? We're getting our own TV show, the Kevin and Kel Show."
And Kenan is just in disbelief.
He's like, "What about me?" To which Kel shouts, "What about you, Marvin?"
For he's a jolly good fellow. For Kevin's a jolly good fellow.
Is how the dream ends.
So this is clearly Kenan's nightmare. It's somebody else is better than him, and can actually do what he never is able to do, which is provide for his family.
I think they did a good job organizing this because we went from like the best case scenario to like the absolute worst.
Yeah, and then a random one in the middle. I don't know. It's a lot of dream sequences. I understand the point of it, but a lot of dream sequences.
Agreed. Kenan's alarm goes off. It's 5:30 in the morning, and he's like, "All right, Kel, let's go."
They have to leave so early because the place is pretty far away.
15 miles, as Kel says later.
Yeah, and so they instantly start getting dressed. Start putting on their
Kenan
clothes.
starts getting dressed.
Yeah.
Kel literally stands up in his sleeping bag and starts hopping out the door.
Kenan puts his pants on. He's got a shirt. He's ready to go. And Kel
falls down the stairs in his sleeping bag.
And the helmet, by the way. He slept in the helmet.
Oh, yeah. So I love this. This is the final form of Kel in this episode. He's in a sleeping bag in cow pajamas with a helmet on, just hopping everywhere.
Final form. Yes, exactly. As he falls down the stairs, Kenan makes like a bunch of twitches in his face. He's like, oh.
We go to our last set, the front of the Rockmore residence.
But not any Rockmore residence.
George and Margaret Rockmore's residence.
George and Margaret, yes. Kel is still wearing a cow outfit, the sleeping bag, and the helmet. Kenan is dressed to the nines. Not really. He's just dressed in his normal gear. And they're like, this is it. All right. And Kenan goes to knock on the door, and then he freezes right before he knocks.
Yeah, he freezes. He thinks to himself, the people that live here are like two total strangers. And it's, I don't want to walk away from my life. Sure, there's my sister, and she's annoying. She painted my toenails that one time.
Actually, that was me, says Kel.
And he goes, he's thinking about it. He's like, you know what? I like my family. I love Roger and Sheryl Rockmore. No matter what, they'll be my parents.
Aww.
Yeah. So he says, "Come on, Kel, let's get out of here."
Yeah. He's like, let's leave. He said, even if I was switched at birth, I love Roger and Sheryl Rockmore.
Yeah. He goes to leave. It's a happy, upbeat ending.
Yeah.
And Kel says, "Hold up."
I did not get up at 5:30 in the morning, hop 15 miles with a knight's helmet on. So
you could just turn away.
So he knocks on the door, rap. And who answers the door, Adam?
A man answers the door and he says, "Hello, can I help you?" And he says, Kenan says, No, we're just leaving. And he shuts the door. Kenan and Kel turn away, and then they pause. And they turn back to the door and knock again. This time we see the full man but in the door frame. And how would you describe him, Aaron?
Asian. Let's say he's Asian.
He's like, Kenan says, "Are you George?"
Kenan and Kel are black, and he's Asian.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Kenan says, "Are you George Rockmore?" He's like, "Yes, I am." And they start like losing it. They start cracking up because, and then Margaret comes over, an Asian lady, and they keep laughing. And their son is there. He's also Asian.
Might I say, George? They're both wearing these like really silky robes, which may be part of like an Asian prop costume, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I do love this silky robe because it has a dragon on the back. Like, I wish I had that.
I like how the silky robe is what teed you off to the costume, not the dragon emblem.
No, it's a silky satin robe. And then a young man shows up, and let me guess, you're Kevin. They keep cracking up.
Yeah, it's they lose it at this Asian family that Kenan thought were his actual parents.
Which is it's a funny way to end the episode. A funny way. Just kind of like a head scratcher. At times, it's like I think it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I agree. I think we didn't. There's a version of this where where they turn away, and like that big final. It's missing that final pop.
That final laugh. That it is funny because they got all worked up for no reason.
At the halfway point of this episode, Kenan put together these are my real parents.
I was switched at birth. I'm waiting to go see George and Marla.
And you said that the dreams had no effect on this, but I think they did. They backed up the image that Kenan has in his mind of his parents, which make this final joke so much funnier.
Right. The dreams reassured that he actually did love his parents and did like the life that he had. And he has a sister and he has the nice loving parents and they still are together, and it's just a good thing.
And so it's kind of like a very appreciate what you have. And take a step back, and he had that hindsight, which is very nice.
That is nice. And it was a good kind of wraparound from normal Kenan. It's almost like Kenan's growing up, right? We didn't see Rigby's this episode. We didn't see some of our other friends, but we did see Kenan kind of start to grow up a little bit.
Which is nice.
Growing up in the sense of recognizing what's important.
Yeah, and his family dynamics is a little different next episode too, and I think that is in part because of his attitude change here.
A lot of kids go from being kind of entitled or not appreciating what they have to really appreciate. As you get older, you appreciate what you have more. I think that's pretty important part of growing up. So I think it's a really good episode overall.
Agreed.
Just missed some key kind of functional points for me. But anyways, I don't have the end scene.
Okay. So the ending, Kenan and Kel come out on stage, and then he says, Kel pinches Kenan and says, "I want to make sure you're not dreaming. We had so many dream sequences this episode." And then Kenan's just like, "No, Kel, this all looks normal. The audience is normal. The curtains, and a penguin walks out in front of them, like crosses them."
That's funny.
Kenan says, "Maybe this is a dream. Kel, grab a tortilla, some beans, a pound of guacamole, and meet me at Dr. Frank's House of Waffles." Then he looks directly at the camera and says, "That's Dr. Frank's House of Waffles." When you're in the mood for some delicious waffles, just open your mouth and say, "Ah." And he takes off his outer shirt, and his shirt underneath, you see the back of it, and has a logo.
What?
For Dr. Frank's House of Waffles.
What the heck?
So then he puts his shirt over his shoulder and walks out. Now at Rockmore & Kimball, you can buy yourself a Dr. Frank's House of Waffles t-shirts. You cannot yet, but by the time this episode goes up, it'll be up. The new shirt design just dropped.
It better be up.
I'm not sure how many more joke teas we're going to do in this episode, so I'm going to do one more for the holiday season.
Get your shirts. Get your shirts.
Get your shirts, see ya.
Shirts. Get your shirts. Oh my gosh. That's a wonderful shirt.
Yes.
Nobody will ever understand this shirt.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's not a huge market in obscure Kenan and Kel t-shirts.
No.
But we've cornered that market.
We've cornered it.
Kenan runs off, and Kel says, "Kenan, don't they have guacamole at Dr. Frank's House of Waffles?" That's Dr. Frank's House of Waffles.
Oh boy.
When you're hungry for waffles, just open your mouth and say, "Ah, here it goes."
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
One of the better ending scenes, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
whose fault do you think this episode was, Aaron? Kenan's or Kel's?
Oh, I think it's Kenan's.
Kel just was very ancillary to his adventure.
Yeah, but he was supporting. I don't think it's
Yeah.
Kenan's fault per se. I think I don't want to question Kenan's curiosity. I don't want to negate his curiosity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe only a half a point to Kenan, because he does eventually jump to that conclusion.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like a discovery episode, and it's not your fault if you don't believe somebody.
Yeah, the only trouble was caused by Kel by flooding the basement. So I would not say it's a problem that had a fault.
Yeah, no, it just kind of flooded, made Roger
Right.
pay the bill.
So this is a blank episode then.
Blank,
We've had them before.
blankety blank blank.
What do you think as a whole of this episode, Aaron?
I thought it was very nice, but it wasn't that funny to me. It wasn't. I mean, I said that was funny a couple times, but yeah, there weren't any great moments. There was a lot of good moments. It was a solid episode, but it didn't really do it for me. It just was missing a little bit from what I love of Kenan and Kel. It was missing a little bit of the other characters. It was missing a little bit of the fast-pacedness. I know that you said it was fast-paced, but I felt like it was a little slow towards the end.
I felt like, especially coming off of last episode, it wasn't a full cast.
Yeah.
Really, we narrowed it down very much, and the people that we saw, even Roger, Sheryl, Kyra, they weren't. Roger had some good lines, but I felt like they could have used them a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
And they don't. It's not them getting into trouble.
Right, and I would have liked at the end there'd be some kind of Kenan goes back to his parents and loves tries to do something nice for them, and then it ends up being terrible or something like he makes a cake for them and then they eat it and it's really bad. I don't know, something like that would have been nice, but
Yeah, a little more showing than telling.
Yeah.
That about his relationship with them and how that changes.
Yeah,
So those are fair critiques, I'd say. I think I'd like the sentimentality a little bit more than you. It's not the most heartfelt one of the whole run, and you can see the you can see the imperfections a little bit, but it's one I remember very well, and I like some of the gags, but not all of them. Like the alien one that you mentioned doesn't really land as many times as they try to.
Yeah.
So let's talk ratings. On IMDb, this episode has a 7 out of 10, and is ranked 56 out of 62 episodes, right near the bottom.
Yeah.
I think that's almost bottom 5, bottom 10. I do not personally think that belongs down there, but what do you think, Aaron? Out of 10 bottles of orange soda, how many would you give it?
I'm going to give this a 7.5.
All right.
Because it was a respectable episode, but not one of my favorites.
Agreed. I'm putting it a little lower for this season, but not by much. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 bottles.
Okay.
Yeah, I might revisit that, but I got too many good vibes to turn it lower. That's it for this week's episode.
That's it for this week. We'll see you next week when we're looking at the 7th episode of the 4th season of Kenan and Kel, The Graduates.
Yes. Don't read too much of that description. For some reason, the whole plot's up there.
Yeah,
for The Graduates.
I am not reading that, and you shouldn't either.
But it's about Kenan and Kel's graduation.
Do 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 do. Until next time, Fantas. Any last words, Adam?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out. There's a thanks to everyone that's been enjoying our podcast this year. Spotify Wrapped is going on. Have you seen all these social media posts?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. One that blew me away was a fan that we have from a Danish fan.
Ah, from the homeland.
Our podcast is number 1 on his list.
That's awesome. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it blows me away. Check the Kenan Kel podcast Twitter page to see his post featured. It's I'm so happy that our podcast is international and enjoyed internationally.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing. That's great. And thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate you. This is why we do it. Keep on listening, and we hope more episodes are coming. Well, they are.
Hope granted.
Hope granted. Until next time, everybody. Oh, here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan Kel Podcast.
Why?
That we have committed to commit.
That's it. It's been a long week.
Woo!